With the new Anbennar update introducing over 40 mission trees, I don't really have much of an excuse to not get started on making more videos. Especially since I still have at least 10 fantasy races to make videos for. You know, at this point I really thought maybe I'd be half done. I was wrong. If you've been here for a while, you know what Anbennar is. And if you haven't, there's a lot to unpack here. Anbennar is a fantasy total conversion mod with a whole lot to it. And if you thought this stuff looked complicated on the surface, the map is actually not even done yet. They're still working on this continent. There's no easy way to explain the lore in Anbennar because each region has so many things that are immediately relevant and a whole lot of like history as well. It's not really worth getting into all of it. So what's important to know is that we're playing in an area over here, otherwise known as the not Europe of Anbennar. And for the first time ever on this channel, we're actually going to play in the Empire of Anbennar. Specifically, we'll be playing as the Imperial Gnomes, this little city over here. Funnily enough, for having played a lot of Anbennar, I actually don't know that much about Anbennar, like the Empire itself, the whole namesake of the mod. Mechanically speaking, it is nearly identical to the Holy Roman Empire in vanilla EU4. Notably, we do start with religious peace, because there is more than one faith in the Empire, but not really, there's like one other religion. In recent Anbennar history, I know we had a sort of 100 Years' War situation, kind of, not really. Just a series of wars known as the Lilac Wars, which lasted like about 100 years. Primarily between two factions, the Moon Party and the Rose Party. I'm pretty sure we weren't actually involved in any of them, because if we were, then we'd have like random penalties and buffs to relations around us. For example, if you go to Wex, you can see like, oh, the Moon Party was defeated, the Rose Party was successful, and since the war ended like literally 1 year prior, that of course still has an effect. Pretty sure the war was something to do with Laurent trying to like claim the throne of Anbennar as well, and that was like happening for a really long time. Not really sure why Wex is the emperor. There's definitely something that I just didn't read. Anyway, that pretty much sets the stage for us, the Gnomes, a free city in the Empire of Anbennar. We have Lord Mayor Delda Glibgear. She is 91 years old. I'm sure she will probably pass away soon, but she is a scholar, industrious, and a naive enthusiast. As gnomes, we have a couple of modifiers for our administration and military. Gnomes are all about inventing things and being innovative, probably to make up for the fact that gnomes are pretty small, so to equalize themselves in combat, they will need to invent weaponry. So we get tech cost reduction, increased production efficiency, couple of bonuses to our spies, and increased innovativeness gain. In exchange, we have a reduction in global settler increase, reduced missionary strength, increased state maintenance, and a hefty minus 5% admin efficiency. As for the military, we are pretty good with artillery, and of course artificery. In exchange, we have reduced manpower recovery and infantry combat ability, and frankly, we're not very good with galleys, which kind of makes sense. Imagine trying to get gnomes to row galleys around. I'm sure they're not going to be great with them. As for our religion, we are Regent Court, the main Canorian pantheon. We have a whole lot of deities to pick from. Each one gives us 2 bonuses, and some of the options might disappear at some point, who knows. But for now, we're going to go with Castellos, who gives us yearly Republican tradition and monthly admin power. We can start off with our estates. I will of course seize some land and hand out a couple of privileges. I think I want to start with both the admin and the military point privileges. I saved a bit of crown land to try to make the mages happy, and the adventurers as well. As for rivals, well, we do need to invade the people around us to start with. Conveniently, Terre doesn't seem too difficult. Actually, we can probably just go with everyone here. As for the first mission, we need to become friends with Silverforge. Alright, those are the dwarves over here. Okay, so we immediately get a conquest CB. That's not what I expected. Didn't know we even had claims on stuff, but there you go. We seem to have a problem right off the bat. Gibbard's artificery and economy have been dwindling for quite some time. We need to do something, that's why we have claims, and also we need to decide what path we will take. The top option will give us morale and movement speed for 10 years. Middle option will reduce the defensiveness of a particular fort in Benon, being this one, for 5 years as soon as we declare war. And the bottom option is lame, where we just kind of do nothing. War it is, we're going after Benon. 5 units will probably not be enough, even though our artificers are rather strong. Remember, of course, each of our artificer regiments gain 0.15 infantry fire and 15% infantry combat ability, which does make them quite strong, but we will need a little bit more. So I'm actually going to go to the merchants and ask them for a bit of money, but we're going to go ahead and actually hire this free company. It is rather expensive, but it comes with a very good general, 2432. Wow, they really did pick up 2 allies immediately. That kind of sucks. But anyway, anyway. Decent stack wipe to start with, no doubt because of the artificers. We will have to take out quite a bit of debt in this war though. We do have the advantage of being able to put up our fort with plus 43% defensiveness, while theirs is at minus 50%. With their capital taken, we can go ahead also scorch that, move up to here. I'm going to try to do a bit of maneuvering around here because these guys are being a little bit annoying. I decided to go after Varina first because they're the ones actually sieging my fort, and they do siege a little bit slower than we do, especially because of our general. So there's their capital. Let's go ahead and ask for war reps, full money. Just go ahead and break a couple of alliances. That should do it. Now everyone is black flagged. We should be able to move up into here. You can attach here. We should be able to fight you since you have no general. Well, you do have one, but they suck. We are gnomes though, so just by nature of being gnomes, we kind of suck too. But anyway, it's not too bad. Besides, we can go for a double stack wipe actually, or double nothing. Neat. There we go. Yay, corruption. That's a good start. Thanks, game. Oh, hold on. We can't have you surrendering yet. There we go. Enemy's capital has been sieged. Let me go ahead and ask for war reps, full money, and those rivalries. Okay, now we actually do want to finish off our first mission before ending this war. So let's go ahead and give Silver Forge a gift. Although, okay, technically I'm running a deficit. Let me just do that real quick. 25 ducats should do the trick. As with every Anbennar video, I will give you a brief second to pause and read these yourself before I give you the TLDR. So our mayor heads to Silver Forge to discuss the future plans of conquest with the dwarves. We're going to have to play every card in our hand to make sure that we remain important. After all, we are small gnomes in a large empire. And to gain the recognition we deserve, we're going to have to do everything we can to become larger and more powerful. So when we conquer provinces that contain gnomish minorities, we remove 5 aggressive expansion. That's pretty important, because these provinces over here you can see have gnomish minorities. So if we go ahead and take this, first of all, we get an event. The dwarves are more than willing to help us, but of course they need some kind of incentive, so we can decide to promise them a favor. And in exchange, we get siege ability for the next 10 years. Or if we reject the favor, then for the next 15 years, we get 20% improved relations. Now, I have a feeling that the aggressive expansion is actually going to be the worst part of this. Not too worried about being able to win wars faster as much as I am about being able to expand fast enough. So we'll just take the improved relations. Now we can finish our peace deal. And as expected, the aggressive expansion went down by 10. Not bad. Of course, we can pay off all of our loans now. And, oh right, of course, since we have artificery, we gained the artificer estate and we have like no crown land. Nice. Actually, shouldn't I gain some after this war? Yeah, there we go. That's a lot of crown land. Never mind. Anyway, we do need something like the Gomo client network for a mission. It also gives us increased improved relations and an additional Diplo rep. The Gomo is just an international organization of artificers. It really just starts with the gnomes, eventually gaining more countries. Right, since we've conquered some stuff, we are no longer a free city in the empire. I also need some new rivals, and I do need this stuff down here. Yeah, I kind of messed up by not trying to be friends with the emperor before taking land. I'm just gonna pretend I don't see that message. Nobody's home, or I guess nobody's gnome. That was bad, I'm sorry. Oh, thanks, Wex, that's cool. Thanks, man. Okay, I guess we're not grabbing this then. And the Renaissance has spawned. Fortunately, this time we're actually kind of close to it. Maybe I won't have to spawn it this time. So since gnomes have like a really long election cycle, I guess we kind of want the random candidate to become a lot better, so I guess political dynasties would be a good idea, since we won't be leveling them up in the regular Republic way. Magisters finally will stop complaining if I summon the Diet and then take some land back. This event is kind of contextually important. So the Iskani are from Iskan, if you could have guessed. That would be this area over here. Wow, it's looking rather depopulated. I wonder what happened. Well, a bunch of orcs and goblins started spilling out of the Serpent Spine, a giant mountain range over here, started conquering this area known as the Green Tide. So the humans figure, wow, it kind of sucks to live in this area that's been completely conquered and razed to the ground by orcs and goblins. How about we leave? So they've been doing that for a little while. This is the final flight of the Iskani. We get to choose, will we repatriate them, allow them to stay here temporarily, or help them to settle in? I'm hoping that this option, being the most expensive, will give us a couple of rewards at some point. Kinda seems like a bad idea, and that's because it might be, but we'll find out. I'm gonna go ahead and sell some titles, which will absolutely collapse the crown land, but don't worry about that. What I want to do is build a temple in here. Also go ahead and expand the infrastructure. It's kind of important for something else. Alright, that temple is done, which is important because now the clergy lose a little bit of land. That temple will also make it a little bit cheaper to develop, by 5%. It's not about the Renaissance as much as I just need to develop the capital a little bit. 25 development should do it, but I'm just going to drop one more Diplo in here so I can take out one admin. If you remember at the start of the game, we were actually barred from being able to research anything, but at the very least we can go ahead and do that now. What do they have for us? Actually, what are we even using right now? Magisterium Oversight? Research takes 10 years. Can only research up to tier 1. That's pretty cringe. And we get some moderate choice. Okay. Well, this is useless for us. This could be helpful, actually. Yeah, okay. It's really only the one in the middle. We do make a little bit of money, so we can hire both an admin and Diplo advisor. That will allow us to finish off this mission. Really just gives us a couple of permaclaims, nothing too interesting. The idea is that we should try to conquer more of Esmaria before somebody else decides to conquer Esmaria and then fight us. Actually, I think I was wrong about my leader dying soon, because it turns out gnomes are also a long-lived race. Average lifespan of 200 years, so that's cool. You can see some of that crown land back, and I think I'm going to start preparing for war. I'm also going to hire the moon spears down here. We have a really good general. Everyone's ready. Let's go. That's one stack wipe. Another incident in the Empire, something to do with the gnolls that are like down here. The hill gnolls became the dove-sworn gnolls after unexpectedly swearing fealty to the Emperor of Anbennar. Okay. Well, in that case, I guess we'll just go with a humiliate. That's fine. War reps, money, alliance. Get out of here. Oops. Just a little bit of damage done to the city. I will take that army professionalism, though. I think that's a good idea. Can't really take too much from these guys because they are not a co-belligerent. But fortunately, this one province does have some gnomish minorities in it, so it will decrease the aggressive expansion. Otherwise, of course, we'll take money, war reps, break some alliances. Oh, what do you know? So the turnout was that we actually would give the gnolls a chance at a new homeland. Oh, there you go. That's kind of cool. I hope they get a mission tree one day, actually. That would be neat. Well, that's not a very good battle. That sucks. Still, got a lot of damage done, so they can just clean it up for me. Okay, I think we've spread the Renaissance enough for it to be worth taking right about now. So I'll go ahead and actually take out a couple of loans because I was going to have to do that anyway. We will embrace the institution. I'll take the next few techs. We do get an idea group, but I don't know what I want right now. Thematically speaking, it would be appropriate to go for innovative ideas, since, you know, gnomes. It does also make the artificers more loyal. And more innovativeness, you know what? Sure, why not? Ooh, faceting. Isn't that 2 videos in a row now? Well, I'm not complaining. Vanna has fallen. We will take full money and war reps, and we will break a couple of important alliances. As for these guys, how bad would it be to take all this? Honestly, not that bad. Like, it looks bad, but these provinces, well, at least one of these, has a gnomish minority, so it should be a little bit cheaper. Now, I just need one more war before I stop doing stuff for the time being. So how bad could this possibly be? Not great, because I am getting the Magisterium in there, but also really not that bad because it's also -5. I think it's fine if we conquer this and then just kind of stop for a while. For us to finish this mission, we're going to have to change our deity to either Esmarial or Riala. Esmarial gives us cheaper advisors and Diplo annexation cost, while Riala gives us Diplo rep and improved relations, or rather more relations. The only one that's really relevant to us right now would be Esmarial. I can very easily get enough opinion with Wex by simply insulting one of their rivals. Oh, that's only plus 25. I don't know why I thought it was plus 30. Okay, well, I was going to spend money on gifts for the other electors anyway to finish this, so we might as well spend less money by just being friendly to Wex. There are 2 main benefits to the conquest of Esmaria and 2 main drawbacks. We now have enough resources to continue existing, and we can stake our claim on Esmaria. But on the downside, people still make fun of us for being short, and they also don't like the fact that we've been conquering stuff because that makes us seem violent. I can't imagine why. So we just had to start worshipping a local deity and doing a little bit of diplomacy to make sure that people don't hate us that much. We gain 20 prestige and we get 10 years of improved relations. On the downside, we do lose 1 diplomat, which is actually crushing, but it's only for 5 years. Esmarene challenges our bid. Why does that look like it would be French? Like Esmarene? I don't know. By the decree of the Lord, Mayor Esmarene officially challenges the electorship bid of Gibbard, attesting that they have claimed to be the true representative of the Esmari and Imperial Gnomes? Gnomes, you say? I'm not seeing any gnomes in there. Anyway, we lose 20 prestige, add them as a historical rival, that's cool. In fact, that kind of ties in perfectly because I was just about to ask, like, how does Esmarene earn our wrath? Like, what does that even mean? I guess we know now. You know, it would also make a lot of sense for me to just go ahead and accept Esmari culture, considering it's like the only one around here that's not gnomish. Well, actually, we do have a few elves around here. Well, anyway. Accepting Esmari should also help tolerate humans, I think. Arcane Battery Capital Complex. Apparently this thing stabilizes Dame tier, cool. But what does it actually do? Let's find out. Uses 10 artifice capacity, gives us local development cost in the capital. Okay, that's not bad. We've also finished off this mission. TLDR, it would be a good idea to open a school for learning artificery. This gives us another debuff where we cannot research anything for 10 years, but after 5 years we will gain artificer capacity plus 5 for the rest of the game, so not bad. We also get a new tier 1 government reform, the Imperial Technocracy. We get a war artificer bonus until the end of the game with an additional 0.05 infantry fire on artificer regiments. We also get reduced advisor cost, reduced aggressive expansion, and increased artificer force limit fraction. Okay, a whole bunch of new reforms because we couldn't use the previous ones. In this case, I actually wouldn't mind going with this one because we get more manpower. And if you remember, as gnomes, we have reduced manpower recovery speed, so that could be helpful. Not really much we can do with this, to be honest. It's kind of irrelevant. We re-elect people once every 17 years. The Council of Technocrats has assembled because we have changed our term length, so technically we were supposed to have an election now. But I kind of like our current hierarch. She's pretty decent, 553. I don't see anybody else on this list that would be anywhere nearly this good. We're right on time to pick up that military technology for some more innovativeness. Whispers of Ascension. Oh, I actually know what this is. I think we don't want to do this. If we let him be, we get technology cost reduction for the end of the game. I don't think it's worth it, if I remember correctly. This is a great event. It pops up when your ruler is over 100 years old, and continues to pop up so long as they still live. I'll go ahead and even out that military a bit. You can also take some land back, but I'm first going to sell some titles before I do that. And for some reason, I need to build a fort on this province, so there you go. Now that the fort has been built, we just need to exploit development for some reason. And now we're done. So the point of all this was that we need a place to practice our more experimental weaponry, and maybe some more dangerous inventions. So we just set up shop in this province and kick all the locals out. The perfect place. Now that province gets attrition for enemies, local defensiveness, -3 possible number of buildings, -1 possible number of manufactories, monthly devastation, and artificer capacity. Lovely. That means that if I ever take this fort down, then the entire capital province, or capital state, will no longer get prosperity. Very cool. The gem Radicurt flashbacks are setting in. Oh, what do we have here? A specific modifier for the Age of Monsters if you're in Anbennar. -25% aggressive expansion, you say? And it stacks? Interesting. Oh, never mind, it does not stack. For this mission, the adventurer's influence needs to be lower than 30, but their loyalty needs to be above 50. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this away from the nobility. That should reduce the adventurer influence to below 30, and we can finish this off. Suffice to say, the artificers are not a huge fan of the magisterium because they're like interested in, I don't know, the balance of magical power or something. Nerd stuff. But we're cool and hip with the kids because we do artificery. So there's one particular part of the magisterium we would like to invite, the chroniclers, because at the very least those guys seem kind of interested in learning more about artificery. So for the rest of the game we get dealing with the magisterium, increasing the loyalty equilibrium of the magisters. We also get the chronicler grants, changing the adventurers from their previous organization. Currently it's just the Land of Adventure. This one's cool because we get 20% institution spread and another 25% innovativeness gain. Although, yes, it is rather expensive. Didn't expect the gnomes to have a rant almost as unhinged as the All-Dwarov one, but it's not even our fault. This time Esmeralda actually did decide to challenge us, so it's not our fault if they face the consequences. The center of trade in Esmeralda is decreased by 1, they lose 4 production, 2 tax, they gain 25 devastation, and if that wasn't bad enough, they also lose free city status. They no longer have the protection of the Emperor. And in exchange, we get a center of trade in our capital, and local trade power for 10 years. Let's go ahead and upgrade that. I've actually been waiting to stack a whole bunch of development modifiers on the capital because we do make a lot of money off these gems. So I've been hoping to stack that a little bit more. Looks like we've destroyed them so thoroughly that they no longer even count as a rival. For the 4th reform, I'm kind of thinking either expand temple rights, or maybe curtail clerical privileges. Actually, I'm gonna go with this one. It's also been a while since I last invaded anybody, so I'm just gonna do that that real quick. Siege race had me worried for a second there. Fortunately, these guys do not have artificery. Alright, you're gonna give me money, war reps, break one alliance, that's about it, and full annexation. The real shame that a lot of my allies are kind of in the line of fire here, because, you know, I do actually need to take that one province that you have. So unless you're willing to become a vassal, which, yeah, it doesn't seem like it, that's a real shame. More learnings of an elder. Let's go ahead and equalize that military. I feel like the aggressive expansion has gone down enough. I have a feeling the other princes are not going to like what I have in mind here. Oh yeah? You want to siege that fort? That one? Are you sure about that? Well, if you insist. Just kidding. Stack wipe. Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to check. Can I fully annex you? The answer is always yes, of course. I joined the trade league, which was kind of annoying, and I was not having that. For you, I would like to full annex you, but you know I can't do that. How expensive could one port possibly be? Ooh, it's pretty bad. Never mind. On second thought, you can just break those alliances. That's okay. Then we full annex this guy. The plate of, oh, what is this? Surrender Esmeralda after I just fought this hard to make this happen? No. Wex can hate me, I don't care. When has Wex ever done anything for us? Alicand stands? Wait, hold on a second. Isn't Alicand... Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute. Aren't you the guys with like your own unique religion at some point? I mean, they start with the same as Alicandus, but they're actually worth playing. Really fun tag, you know, after you finish the obligatory 50-year slog that is every game in Iscan. But after that, they have some pretty good content. Oh yeah, we can do research again now. So specifically to finish a mission, we're going to want one in this category. So let's take a look here. Box of Folding, Commercial Sky Galleons, Mystic Ciphers. Mystic Ciphers is one of them. Well, I guess it's the one we'll have to go with. Turns out we're going to need a little more governing capacity. We'll give that to the clergy, I guess. Oh, rivalry from Laurent isn't that nice. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. Anyway, new government reform. I didn't really mention this the last time that I saw it, but I feel like this is a new reform. The Army of Halan, which gives you utterly insane bonuses, but it does require that you have every race present and integrated in your country, and so I can think of like maybe 4 countries that are capable of doing that. So our artificers technically count as like special units, right? So I'm thinking, in theory, we would want to increase the force limit factor for our special units. Not sure if that's going to work out the way that I want it to, but we'll find out. It does increase it, but it is not additive, it is multiplicative, which is unfortunate, but it's still pretty decent. Now that we've finished off innovative ideas, our advisors should be a bit cheaper. For the low cost of 169 admin, we can pick up the next idea group. I think it would be best to actually pick up espionage ideas, because I don't think we'll be taking enough provinces to justify diplomatic right now. Of course, we can always swap out ideas later, but I think what's most important for trying to improve our relations with a bunch of countries, something we'll have to do pretty soon, it's more important actually that they don't hate us as much. I really hate having to fight trade leagues. More annoying than anything else. Mystic ciphers are finally done. Basically, if you have like important information, then you just encode it with a particular password that needs to be said in a specific way in order to decode the illusion magic. Pretty interesting stuff. In practice, we just get a couple of spy bonuses. We've now completed this mission where we've come up with the idea of building a really big boat. Cool. Very impressive. For 5 years, we will get minus 40 artificer capacity, minus 2 artificer invention slots, and we won't be able to disable any society inventions for 5 years, but at the end of all that, we get an extra diplomat, so that's kind of cool. Of course, I will fully annex this guy because I do not want to fight another war with that trade league. Great that we can pick this up because I did need some more governing capacity. Oh, well. I guess I won't have to worry about appeasing Wex. Alright, quick. The elves are distracted. We can fight Telgear. Wait, what? Discover Aelantir? I don't think so, man. That's because they're a trading company of Dame's Crown. So we get to see them, and they are technically in Aelantir, so sure, alright. I guess I'm popping the golden era. Let's see, it would be really funny if I could take this, but unfortunate. Instead, I'll go with adaptive combat terrain. Absolutely brutal battle to end this off. Here we go. I guess we might as well go with Diplo at this point. Rest in peace, Dame's Crown. It's actually pretty impactful. Now, I don't want to fully annex Telgear. That'll be a little too much aggressive expansion. Not because I'm afraid that coalition would kill me, but instead because I want to take something else. And we've been chosen to hold the Assembly of Parliament. I kind of like this new emperor. Maybe we'll prop them up. We'll see. Took a long time, but we finally managed to finish this mission. We now own all of the urban provinces in Esmaria. Actually, I don't think I ever mentioned urban provinces. Anbennar has different terrain types. Other than dwarven holds, I think they're the best in the game, and that's really only because holds have their own special mechanics. Anyway, this mission pretty much details details how Gibbard is now the greatest city in the region of Esmaria, so it increases the center of trade to level 3 for half cost. For the rest of the game, we also get plus 0.5 yearly prestige and plus 1 monthly splendor. Let me go ahead and hand out a couple of land rights actually, because I've been gaining a lot of crown land because I didn't really need the money, and instead of grabbing that, because there's not really much of a point, instead I will just expand a bunch of infrastructure. Finally finished building those ramparts over here. I just needed any kind of manufacturing, and that's the only one I thought was really worth building. Ironic that it's the one province that doesn't get local defensiveness, but anyway. This mission is about cultural investments and smithing. If you remember the guys down here, Sainathil, they had a music note in their flag, or I think it was a treble clef, I don't remember. I think they actually have a mission tree that's somewhat focused around like being musical, like being fantasy bards that can buff their allies and stuff, so that's kind of neat. Might make for a good co-op gameplay, who knows? But anyway, that's their whole thing down here, so we're going to commission their bards to like create some cultural artifacts for a unified Esmaria. Meanwhile, Telgair, these guys are pretty good at like smithing and stuff, so they're here to help protect Esmaria. So it makes sense. In the north we get defensiveness for that reason, in the south we get the local unrest reduction for the other reason, and we get some permaclaims on stuff that I want to take next. We just have to fight the Ryalan Temple and their allies. Now fortunately they are pretty weak, not going to be much of a fight. The only thing I'm worrying about actually is the amount of aggressive expansion this will cost, because right now it's not too bad, and there is one gnomish minority, so it'll decrease our aggressive expansion by 5 by the end of it, but it could still be kind of hefty. It could be a lot. We'll see. Point at them and laugh. Been preying on Wex's downfall since day one. In fact, preying on Wex's downfall since before the game. All my homies hate Wex. Alright, Arboren. 4 eps, money. Don't really care about much else, actually. And rivalry, I guess. Sure. Oh, learning from a traveler. And we get a couple of unique options because of our mayor. Oh, that's crazy. I guess you can go with the roleplay option. Lose support for colonialism just because your ruler is long-lived. That's kind of funny. But no, we definitely do want colonialism, even if it's a bit expensive. Didn't expect the Dwarven Road to be the province that I would develop the institution in, but funny things happen like that sometimes. Not that I really even needed to develop it, since of course it is in Eborthil, and it will pass into Vernay, and then from there into the rest of Anbennar. I mean, even Neckcliff has it as well, but it's nice to have it early. We are absolutely speedrunning through these reforms. Not sure if there's one that I actually care about too much. I mean, sure, calling the diet no longer increases the influence, but sometimes I kind of wanted to increase the influence. Otherwise, I don't get bonuses that are nearly as good. Republican tradition also does not matter for us. You know what? We'll go with this one. That's fine. The problem with Attorney General is that I can't guarantee that our ruler is going to remain the same culture, or more likely they will end up as a gnome, but we rule over a lot of humans, so we don't often get gnomes as advisors. In fact, we have 0 gnome advisors right now. Finished off espionage ideas. We can combo that with innovative for an extra diplomat, and you can bet I'll be taking a humiliate from this guy. Oh right, you exist. All the way over there? Seriously? Well, hopefully they can just deal with that, thanks. Alright, cool. Of course, full annexation. Let's see how bad it is. Oh, that's actually fine. Like, that's not a problem in the slightest. Although, if I didn't have minus 65% aggressive expansion, I figure that would be a problem, wouldn't it? I didn't even realize that we had an adventurer. These are pretty cool. Every now and then, after Elantir is discovered, there will be a bunch of adventuring companies that want to set out and, like, establish their own countries in the region. So for us, we have the Vanbury Guild. They're looking for more materials to make better artificery, including stuff like precursor steel. And I did go ahead and save the game, so just out of curiosity, I do want to take a look at these guys. Alright, we spawn down here. This is in, I think, Southern Elantir. Do we have any missions? Oh, we do have missions. Like, a lot of missions, actually. That's cool. They don't seem to really be that crazy. You know, you get the trade efficiency. That's cool. A lot of temporary modifiers, but nonetheless, interesting stuff. We can pick up this military tech right on time. We're just 1 year ahead of time, but we do get the innovativeness from grabbing it now. Although, actually, I could embrace the institution. It's a little more expensive than it has to be, but we have so much money, I don't think that actually matters. I think we might as well just embrace it right now. Like, to put things into perspective, we make the most money of every country that is visible right now. So it's not like money is much of an issue. Now we can take this for slightly cheaper and still get our innovativeness. We just have a couple of things we need to build to finish off this mission. At last, we have United Esmaria. With the investments we've made, the blood we've spilt, and the future to win, we've not a moment to waste. Our destiny is so close. Ryalanar, which is this province over here, will gain local sailors modifier and local shipbuilding time reduction. We'll also get an event, the Imperial Archive. Debate is broken out amongst the 3 technocratic factions which dominate nominate Gibbard about what to do with the Imperial Archives. The Technomancers want to upgrade the premises and repair any damage. The Brillites want to scour the Imperial Archive for any research that could aid our artificery efforts. And the Mechanists want to move the entire Imperial Archive to Gibbard in order to increase Gibbard's importance and to allow all artificers in Gibbard easy access to the archives. I kinda like the Mechanists' ideas, actually. So the Imperial Archive is in Conwell, this province over here. I guess there's no modifier for it. But if we take the top option, then Conwell will get the restored Imperial Archive. Local unrest, technology cost, artificer capacity, institution spread, okay. Oh, and which faction gains the most support will have consequences later. Oh. With the Brillites, we will get idea cost reduction and artificer capacity for the rest of the game, but increased local unrest. If the Mechanists decide to move everything, then that makes a lot of people upset. We get a lot of local unrest, but we reduce artificer research time by 10%. That's pretty good. But I don't know what happens with the support, because right now the artificers have the magisterium oversight. I figure at some point we will probably not have that, and we will swap to a different faction, and I'm thinking this might influence that. Which means in theory we want the Brillites, because I kind of like those guys, they research things pretty fast. But if that's not what happens, then I kind of like the Mechanists' idea. Since I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark at what happens here, I think I'm just going to go with my gut instinct and go with the Mechanist, because it's the most expensive option, and I do like that it reduces research time. I guess we'll find out. Oh yeah, okay, so I guess we ended up building that massive ship. I forgot about that. I guess we will improve relations with Silverforge. Sounds good. Okay, well I wouldn't really want to sign this with Thames Crown, but I do kind of need them to like me, so what is that, 10 years? 10 years isn't so bad. Fine. What does BPEC want? I get -1 Diplo rep and lose 50 prestige. Brother. No, actually I'm not doing that. That's fine. Seems we've eclipsed Laurent as well. That's crazy. I guess we're gonna go ahead and rival Gawed. Even actually outpaced the Emperor. Sorry, my bad. Former Emperor Wax. That's just the Pearl's Edge. Oh, that is so expensive. They would like me, and yeah, actually, I don't think it's worth that much. We really don't care that much about Moonhaven. It's fine. We can make Easterlore happier, but Easterlore is of course already our ally. They already have pretty high opinion. Not a big deal. Okay, I feel like we've gone through all of the diplomatic events. Could have finished this earlier, but I felt like it would be nice to just like let the event play out the way that it's supposed to. All we have to do is give like the world's smallest gift to BPEC. Maybe 50, that's fine. We stand on the cusp of becoming the gnomish elector of Anbennar, with the majority of Esmaria already united under one flag, Esmarina under our control, and a reinvigorated artificery industry. As our boat sails from elector to elector, our calculations leave us confident that we will be soon standing in front of the Emperor, one of the key nations of the Empire of Anbennar for all to see. We get an event and 50 prestige and electoral _dreams bonus _no. Cool. Anyway, that's a whole lot of reading. I'm not gonna do all that. Just kidding, I actually did read all of it. Basically, the Emperor expects us to deliver them some kind of really impressive artificery. Remember, this is like really early artificery before the crazy stuff that happens later on. So the world is still sort of stuck in the magic mindset over artificery, so we kind of have to prove ourselves. It says in 3 months, they will expect us to deliver that gift, so I expect maybe in 3 months we will get an event. Who knows? But for the next 10 years, we get -40 artificer capacity, so that's cool. The first gnomish elector. In a grand assembly among envoys of the 7 electors and many others from the various princes and republics of the empire, insert ruler of Gibbard name here, Delva, stands before the emperor, the leader of the magisterium, and a priest able to cite the words of Esmaril and the emperor's chosen deity together. Gibbard is made to swear on the life of the emperor, the watch of the magisterium, and the gods themselves, that they shall faithfully serve the empire and its interests in their new role. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Finally, the augmentation and title electorate for the representation of the gnomish people is bestowed upon Gibbard, and celebrations break out throughout Esmaria and on the rivers as mages relay information from the Imperial. We get another event and changes the limitations from the Artificer organization to allow us to research up to tier 2 inventions. If you notice, artificery has multiple tiers, so this actually indicates that we can only research tier 1 inventions, but as soon as we successfully complete 6 of them, then we can have access to tier 2. Or if it were the year 1580, then we would already be allowed to research tier 2 inventions, but this is certainly nice. And of course we become an elector, which means as an elector, same as with the vanilla EU4 mechanics, we're now allowed to upgrade ourselves to a kingdom. Now, who's currently the guy? Easterlore? Looks like we're already voting for them. Perfect. And there we we go. We finished off another invention. It's kind of funny that the AI takes tech so far ahead of time that they also end up just causing the innovativeness thing to start to expire. Like, this is still 6 years ahead of time. But the even weirder part is that I can actually take it right now, and it's almost the cost of like a regular tech. I will take that innovativeness, actually. Thank you. Oh, I love playing as gnomes so much. Look at that tech cost reduction. Anyway, I do want to pick up one sale of titles because we'll still make a lot of money off of it, and we have tons of crown land. I think I've handed out all of my crown land for land rights, actually. Like, even the artificers have one, and I think I gave them that too. So we're not getting any more governing capacity than this for a while. But anyway, we'll sell those titles. That's actually pretty important because we want to improve relations with the Damish temple, not to be confused with the Danish. But now that we have an improved relations value of 100 with them, and we have 2,000 crowns, we can hopefully ask to purchase Moon Isle, this island over here. As artificery becomes more complicated, we need more and more materials. In particular, we need the power source for artificery, Dames tier. It is very expensive, and it exists in Moon Isle, and I think this one as well? Never mind, it does not. But in case you were curious about how rare it is, there's Moon Isle, and there's one other place over here, and that is all that we can see, actually. Those are the only deposits of Dames tier that we can find. There are more in other places, but those are the only ones that we can see in the entire map. So it would be real nice if we could have that. Okay, we can make a permanent large trade deal for the owners of the Moon Isle to turn... Seems the option gets cut off a little bit, but I think what ends up happening is that this port becomes really important. We just trade a lot of Dames tier to the point where we just kind of have like permanent Dames tier in our province. Except the bonuses will disappear if we ever declare war on the country that owns this province. So we can't ever declare war on the Damish temple. That might be a problem depending on who they ally, especially since they're allied to Wex. We'll see. We can renew short-term Dames tier, or we can just seize it. Okay, I don't know if we want to like take it. Eventually, yes, but right now, I don't really have the ships for that. This becomes a permanent Dames tier province minus 50% local production efficiency. We lose a lot of money, and until the end of the game, we get production efficiency reduction. You know what? I think this is a fine compromise for now, and eventually we will probably take the Moon Isle anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And the reason I'm not too concerned about that minus 50% production efficiency is that we already have quite a bit of production efficiency. Literally one workshop offsets that, so it's not a big deal. And if it's permanent, then that means technically at some point we can get a second Dames tier province over here, which I think is far better than just having the one. With that being said though, this seems like a really natural stopping point for Gibbard. The other things we have to do kind of depend on waiting for another like 8 years for that one modifier to expire, so we can actually activate more artificer inventions. We also have to wait another like 4 years for this advancement edict to just like sit on here for a bit. This is also tied to needing that artificer capacity back. And this over here actually requires 2 major events to happen, which are not going to happen for at least a little while, I think. But as you can see, there's still like a lot to get done here. We have barely scratched the surface of the Gibberti mission tree. They do take a while though. We will eventually need universities, and for universities, that is Tech 17. So, if you guys want to see a second half, meaning I will finish the mission tree for Gibbard, I've been told that I'm setting these like goals a little too low, so okay, 4,000 likes. How about that? 4,000 likes by January 14th of 2025, and I will make a second half to the Gibbard video. As for the way things are right now, we are the number 2 great power. We have 55 innovativeness already. We make the most money in all of Canor, well, all the stuff we can see right now. I doubt we make the most money in the game because the command exists. Our army is not necessarily the largest by size, nor in terms of force limit, but because we have artificers that are rather strong, I would say we are the strongest army that we can see right now. I think we would easily be able to defeat Gawed. But that'll be it for today's video. I wish you guys luck on reaching the like goal, and if you're new around here, or if you're not new and you've just forgotten to subscribe for a while, then you should probably go ahead and do that. For now though, this is Corbett signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. Shout out to all the patrons for this month. These people not only help make the channel possible, but also receive early access to videos. So a big thanks to Erica, Baby Cal, Born to Dunk, The Quebecer, Nick Steffel, Hubrut, AG Forero, Ben Mottram, Quiet Guy, Rosset, Torvald, Ambient Cyan, James Levy, Luke78776, White Rook, and Robert.